Uh-oh, Kang is in trouble, and not just in the news, he's on the drop list. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess way, so you do it too. About respect, and of course, there's Coco.
Howl at the moon. Ooh. All right, guys, welcome back to Monday. And what do we do every Monday, Zach?
We do the drop list.
We do the drop list. We drop it like it's hot.
Ooh.
With comics. But
not cheeks.
Yeah, so we get to come back after this awesome weekend and recoup with you guys, let you know which hot books, trending books, and all kinds of other books. From 1 year ago, we scour the internet, we figure out which ones have taken a significant drop in price, and we put together the top 5 books of the week, and we report to you on those prices. From the biggest drop to the smallest, tiniest little drop. But they have to have a drop to make the list, right? You know what else makes the list? A nice cold beverage.
And this time it's a beer, because I've been pre-gaming, guys. It's always refreshing. It's Incline Cider House Imperial the Tropics. It's 8.5% alcohol. It's locally made Washington apples. Yummy.
What's it look like?
Oh,
You just want to drink it right into it, huh? You're like, I'm going to tell you all about it, and then not show you.
That's what it looks like, guys. Forgive the reflection. I look in the reflection of my eyes as I drink this tasty beverage. False advertising. It's okay.
Is it okay? It's only okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So how we do this list is we have the smallest drop book first to the biggest drop book at number 1, and Zach will also give you some comic book advice. He'll give you his number 1 pick of the week, and then sometimes he'll give you like his cheap pick of the week. Sometimes, if you're
really
lucky.
cheap,
really cheap. If you're lucky. All right, let's kick this list off. Number 5, and this one's gonna be confusing for you guys because this is Thundercats. Number 1 from 1985. Star Comics. You know. Like made all those kids comics back in the day, Peter Porker, all that goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got Jim Mooney and the famous David Michelini, also the writer for Venom, did on this book. And the interesting part about this book is actually on trending list last week if you're watching this video. Last week, so it's interesting that it made the drop list, and that's because it dropped in price. So it is actually trending and people buying it, but the price is actually lower than it was a year ago. And Zach will hit you more on those numbers in a minute. But significance of this book, first team appearance of the Thundercats. So you got Lion-O, Chitara, Panther, Tigra, Wily Cat, Wily Kit, and Snarf. Plus, you had the villain, who might be one of the best villains of all time. Mum-Ra, who has like the best voice for any villain character. And, Thundercats is, especially the last, 5 years or so, has fallen under that 30-year mark where kids back in the day, in the 80s that now, or 80s, 90s, that now have more money, they can afford to pay for things. They want that nostalgia, and they're buying things that were popular. And Thundercats has had a lot of things going on, where people are speculating on there's going to be like a live action movie, they get some news, something gets attached to it. That's what happened last year. Got a nice little boost. I think 2 or 3 years ago, got a really big boost. And just some really, really cool stuff. It's just made on the drop list very slightly. But don't forget to be on the lookout for the newsstand, which is about 2 times value. The Canadian price variant is about 2 times value. And there's a very rare multi-pack, which has all 3, issue 1, 2, 3 together, sealed in the multi-pack. I did have a family member who bought like over 100 of those at one time, and I think he sold them. But they are worth a lot of money, so keep an eye out. Zach will hit you with them numbers.
Yeah, just like Mum-Ra the Ever Living, but in reverse. He was old and young, but now he was young, and then he went old, like a mummy in a tomb in Egypt. Price a year ago for CGC 9. Does that make sense?
From another planet.
From another planet. And another mother. Why not? He's a stepson. Price a year ago for CGC 9.8 was $616. Now it's $525. Not too bad. Range, it's been as low as $450 and as high as $1,020. Someone overpaid there. Average sale, $6.33. Not a bad spec to get on right now, because 80s spec is always going to be recurring, because 80s was that magical decade where all the things that was amazing happened. And I was born in the last year of the 80s. The most magical year.
I missed it.
Of the 80s. Yeah, I was a baby. I was like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
I missed the 80s, but you know, I'm an 80s baby. It counts. And it's about a 15% drop. I think this is a fantastic spec. You buy it in the raw. Coco thinks so too. And whoever's out there annoying us a lot agrees too. So make sure to get a high grade raw copy, set in the CGC, and hopefully you get that 9.8. Maybe even Canadians.
A Canadian 9.8?
A? Yay? I say A, right? Exactly.
Exactly. Moving on to number 4, and we get to be all over the place this week, and that's nice. You got 8 Billion Genies, number 1, from 2022, very recent book. Ryan Brown and Charles Soule, who were recently in Washington at SummerCon. Someone should have got some SIGs on that book. It looked real nice.
Opportunity.
This is one of Princess's favorite books of 2022. She's been a big collector of this one. It's been the story was great right out the get-go. A lot of spec for potential for TV or movie. If you guys aren't familiar with the storyline, everybody in the world gets a magical genie. So roughly 8 billion genies for every person, and everybody gets one wish. As you can tell, like, those wishes start to pop off and all kinds of crazy things happen. Some people's wishes counteract other people's wishes. Some things get really weird, but it's a very good original story and super well written. And back in June of 2022, Amazon picked up the rights to make I think possibly a TV show or a movie for this. I think it might work better as a movie. I'm not really sure, because they only have one series of the book. I think it's only like 8 issues long. So, I mean, once you get done with the first season and it's really good, they're going to be like, make another season. And you know what happens when there's no source material for those later seasons. I don't know. Unless they do, I don't know, some kind of like mini series might work or something. Would be cool. But anyway, it's been quiet. Sometimes when they go into those things where they pick up rights, it can take a long time. Like, they'll be like, hey, we got the rights now, but we may not see anything for 3 years later. And there's no new issues coming out, so that also helps with the book kind of dying down. Indie books don't usually last as long as like Marvel, DC, or Image because of that kind of quietness after the story goes away. But you never know if the show comes out and it is awesome. Hopefully things like that happen. There's a lot of cool variants to look out for, way more than what I'm going to explain to you, but I know there's a Mario 3 homage by Trish Forstner, which I think is the creme de la creme, what you're looking for in this book, I believe. There's a Glitter Cat one that's kind of cool. You might want to be on the lookout for that one. But if you're specking on genies, it might be time to make that wish.
Yes. You're up on the genie lamp and things pop out. And you expect a genie, but it ends up being a jack-o'-lantern. And something else drops in your pants. So price a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $139. Now it's $90. Range $61 to $235. Average sale is $123. It's a 35% drop. It just might be one of those stories that should be made into a TV show, possibly a movie. So you might want to consider that your wish for your next book might be 8 billion genies. That's all I got to say about that.
Hopefully someone doesn't counter your wish. They're like, hey, I'm using my one wish to stop your one wish.
You entered my trap card.
Horrible.
Yeah, activated.
Horrible. All right, let's move it on. We've got number 3. Number 3. I think this is the only book we don't have this week. Probably because it's the biggest book of the week. But it's Avengers 8 from 1964. This is Jack Kirby, Stan Lee. It doesn't get any better than that. First appearance of Kang the Conqueror. This is a big deal. Like, Kang's like one of the big Avenger villains. I wouldn't say he's the biggest, but one of the big ones over the years. And obviously, like, branched him off into a lot of different characters. You got Rama Tut's actually earlier than him in Fantastic Four. And I don't think when they originally wrote them, they were actually supposed to be the same character. They changed it later on. You got Scarlet Centurion shows up later. Iron Lad. There's a whole bunch of different ones. So they've had even more since then that have been coming around. So, It's an interesting thing. You got all these issues with Jonathan Majors in the news right now. Whether or not he may even reprise the role, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. And from what I've seen him do, he looked like he was doing a very good job of what he was doing. But I don't know. Quantumania Ant-Man 3 was not very good. I don't think it was his fault, but the other stuff might be his fault. I don't know. I mean, it's all allegations at this point until somebody gets officially in trouble for anything. But it's really hard to say when they've already announced, like, here's the movies. Like, we're going to name one of them Kang Dynasty, which has made that, Avengers 267 through 269 jump up in price. But I don't know. With the writer's strike and everything, they may just be able to, like, axe some movies altogether. Or just recast Kang. I don't know. Whatever happens. But with this, he's, I think, on the drop list. So if you're a big fan of this book, I think it'll always be a blue chip key. So regardless of what happens, like, in the media or the news or how bad a movie is, I think it's always worth getting Kang just for your PC if you're not going to flip it. But sometimes we talk about flipping it here, so here's the news from Zach.
Yeah, price a year ago, it was in the majors, now it's in the minors. It was at $9,600 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's at $5,520. Range $5,520 to as high as $14,400.
Whoa.
Average sell $9,179. It's a 43% drop for this time manipulating, maybe not manipulating, but paradoxical book, whatever that means, and kind of not his first appearance, because first appearance is Realm of Touch.
Yeah, that's interesting. But this one's worth a lot more, way more than that.
Cover's great, fantastic. It's a book you want to pick up, but probably not at 9.4, because that's really, really spendy. I don't want to drop $5,000 on the first appearance of Kang. I mean, I don't. If I become a millionaire, it's just a drop in the bucket, but I'm not quite there yet. Please help me.
Yeah, it's hard. You got deciding who your favorite villain is, whether or not you want to pay a lot of money for a villain's first appearance. Doom would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves Doom for some reason. Everybody loves Doom, but Kang's cool in his own way, too, but he's a very confusing character. Confusing for sure. You know what is not confusing? Number 2 on the list is one of our favorites in the house. We got Bloodstone number 1 from 2001. Michael Lopez and Dan Abnett. Just an awesome killer book. First appearance of Elsa Bloodstone, the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, and also first Nefarious in Marvel Comics. I believe it probably showed up somewhere else in the comic world. But I always thought it was cool that they bring out Elsa and they connect her to an older character, Ulysses Bloodstone from Marvel Spotlight, from years ago, kind of be able to like bridge the two characters together, which was kind of a fun thing. And
very fun.
This book obviously got really hot when Werewolf by Night was before it came out. Obviously in June of 2022 would have been before the October Werewolf by Night, and there was a lot of speculation that they had cast Laura Donnelly to play Elsa Bloodstone at this time, and fast forward, she did play it. She was the character that played that, and it was really good. So, just kind of one of those things. We haven't heard any more news about the supernatural side of Marvel, which I hope we see more, because that was fantastic special. And I'm probably going to watch that every Halloween from here going forward. Just watch it once a year. Don't watch it out of sync. It's kind of like a Christmas movie or it's a Halloween movie. You got to watch it during that time. But right now it's on the drop, and it's on my list. It's probably going to be on my 2024 list to pick this book up in a 9.8. But it's still on the drop by then. Hit him.
Price a year ago for this bloody beautiful book was $800 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's $450. Range $379 to $880. Average sale is $573. It's a 44% drop for Elsa, though she can drop it like it's hot. I can tell you from experience. She got badonkey donk. I would consider this book to be a pickup that everybody needs to get, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Maybe I'm a little biased because I love redheads.
Hey, shout out on that cover.
Shout out to all the redheads out there, female redheads. Give me a call. Just saying. I'm just saying.
All right. Oh, right. All right. Yeah, she's officially a redhead now. Started out blonde though.
Started out blog.
All right, we have a repeat offender on the drop list, guys. This is is gracing the drop list for its second time. Also making the #1 dropped comic this week in June. Black Panther #3, back on the list. 2022, Alex Ross, John Ridley. We're seeing Tosin back on the drop list, even lower than he was last time he was on the drop list. And so, if you guys aren't familiar, Tosin Adu is a new character they introduced back in 2022, and he has basically vibranium tattoos all over his body that give him powers. But his group in Wakanda don't believe in using the vibranium for technology. They kind of use it to increase like their own strength. I can tell you from what I've read and what people tell me, this John Ridley run is amazing. Just very, very different. Like a lot of like espionage and secret agents, and you can't really tell like if T'Challa is actually like a good guy anymore. Kind of. I mean, you know Black Panther's like a good guy, but they're kind of alluding that like Tosin might like kind of take over as more of a newer character, and just a great run. It ended. They had its final issue. The reason this was hot a year ago was that there was some spec that Tosin was going to be in Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, like Black Panther 2 movie. Not really though. It wasn't really in it. There's some confusion with the name thing, which then made people buy it even more, which it wasn't the same name either. But, however, here we are a year later. There's a new writer. Al Ewing has taken over the Black Panther run. And I read the first issue, and he did what he did with Venom, where he is continuing on the story from the last writer. He's not going to like erase everything and just start over and do his own story. That's kind of how he likes to do it. But there's no real thought that he's going to use Tosin. I doubt. Okay. I mean, he might use Tosin. They were trying to give him his own like solo story a little bit so that people are forced to use him in some fashion. But we'll see however it goes. I still think this is a really good spec book. And if not this one, the 1 in 25, the Torrin Clark that used to be like ridiculously expensive, you might want to get that one too, because that was supposed to be like the next Ultimate Fallout 4 book.
Yeah.
But this book has taken some huge dips. And dives.
Well, we were doing a Toast to Tosin last year. Price was $160 for CDC 9.8. Now we're not feeling that vibranium at $79.
Wow.
Guys. Now vibing right there. Range is $76 to as high as $340. Wow. Average sale $146. It's a 51% drop. It's cut in half. I'm done with you. I'm tired of you, Tosin. Get out of here. No, come back, please. I miss you. And that's all I got to say about that. I think it's a fantastic book at $79. Excuse me. I think the #1 pick, in my humble opinion, is Bloodstone #1. That's I'm biased. #1 pick biased.
Well, it's your opinion. We're asking your opinion.
It's Bloodstone.
Always gonna be biased.
Redhead. I gotta do for the deal of the day. Probably Tosin. $79.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing comes of it, you only spent $79
on a book that was like 100 raw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Bloodstone right now is a good, clean spec. They're going to be doing movie monsters in the near future. They have to. Mm-hmm. That's another area that people are craving really bad. But not craving the hunter. But they're craving. And Bloodstone just might give it to them. Along with all the other fantastic characters. So stay tuned.
Yeah. What if they just do a Halloween special every year? They could do that.
Pretty,
although then it would be hard to rewatch the old one after it gets to like 10 Halloween specials, and you gotta like sit down like, oh man, I gotta watch 10 hours of Halloween specials by the time you get to the 10th one.
But they do that with The Simpsons though.
I don't watch
the Treehouse of Horror. Oh, they're amazing.
I know, I've seen them like 40 years ago. They're still going on.
That's like the best episode they have all year, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
They have redheads.
In the Halloween episode?
Yeah.
Alright guys.
Sideshow Bob.
That's going to wrap up the good old drop list for this week. I think there's a ton of good books to look out for. Definitely one I'm going to be adding to my my hunt for 2024 for sure. But as always, guys, if you like and love the show, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down. Because we like to go live every Wednesday to hang out, because we love chatting with you guys. And leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this week's drop list books, whether you were spec'ing on any of these, whether you like Elsa red or blonde hair better. I still think those covers were pretty advanced for 2021.
Absolutely.
Or 2001. The Elsa covers, they weren't really doing that level of sexy covers back then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
To each your own. But, take us away, Zach.
Yeah, sure. How you do that is, you like female characters, female comic book characters, but there's something that we all have to agree on. The female comic book characters we want, we ain't getting, and the female characters we're getting, we don't want. Kind of like prison. I left that part out. That's how you get those gains.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Don't get those prison gains. Don't get prison broke.
Bye, guys.